All right, we're going to move on to Chapter 1, Exercise 5 now, what we call the slider block. This is on page 1-40 in your text. Uh, as we look at this again, so it's a inch drawing, so everything's in inch. So we're going to go to a new drawing, pull up the imperial settings as far as our drawing template. And taking a look at that drawing, you see we've got some lines that are, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exterior lines on the part, and then we have 2 circles that are on the inside of this. And we are given some angles, so we know what some angles are, and some angles we don't know what they are. So we're going to kind of take a look at this here as we do that. And we're going to kind of use um, the coordinates and place our x0, y0 in the lower right hand corner. So let's start like we usually do. Type in units. So we got to make sure that these are set. So in case our format here is going to be decimal format, we're going to be a 3-place decimal. Double checking your object snaps, endpoint and center is probably good to go for right now. Polar tracking is turned on at 90 degrees, so we could change those increments to whatever we want, but that's fine at the moment. And here on our preferences, you can set your preferences to light or dark if you want, on for the ribbon or off. We'll go ahead and click done. Now, at this point, so I'm going to come to my line drawing command here, and we will specify, it tells us right here, specify first point. Well, our first point is going to start at 0, 0, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, again, notice like we usually do in these, I've got a really long number on the line length. That means that I'm zoomed far, far out, so I need to kind of zoom in a little closer and get down a little bit closer and zoom in to where I want that to be. So, all right, here we go. That seems a little bit more reasonable with my line length. And in this case, the first line is going to be 1 inch vertical line. So that'll be 1 tab 90 degrees. And I place that line. My second line, now in this case, where before we weren't really given the angles, here we do and are given the angles. So I know the line length here is 3.5. I'm going to hit tab. Now I got to figure out what this actual angle should be. Well, it's given off of the vertical line, which is 90, and then we add that 60. So 90 plus 60, this will be a 150 degree angle, and I'll hit enter. Okay. Now, this goes off down this way, and at this point, we don't know what the line length is, nor do I know what the angle is for this line. So I'm going to right-click, confirm to get out of that. So I've worked my way around that way. I'm going to come and work my way around to the other side now to solve this. So here's my line. Since I've got endpoints set on object snap, I'm going to left click on my 0, 0. You could enter that coordinate too. That would be up to you. We know that this is a 4.5 inch line. I'm going to hit tab because this is going to the left. So since it's to the left, it's going to be at 180 degrees, and I'll hit enter. Now, my next line length here is at 1.5 inches, so I'll hit 1.5 inches and hit tab. But notice, in this case, our angle is given to us off of the horizontal, and it's 60 degrees from this way. So I got to take 180 and minus 60. So which this will be a 120 degree angle based on the principles here, of course, of complementary and supplementary angles with that, and just learning how to read and understand what these geometric symbols and dimensions are actually telling us so we know how to interpret it. So that's going to be 120 degrees. Hit enter, and I will come up here and click at that point. So that was the line I had no idea about. So right click and confirm. Now, I had no idea whatsoever about this line type, and that is fine. I did create all of the geometry off of what I was given on my print, and then I completed it, and I know I solved for this drawing by using all of the other geometric points that I knew exactly where they were. So last thing I need to do here is I'm going to zoom in, and I've got to place those two circles. And when I go to my circle tool command, again, I need to know what those coordinate points are. Well, I'm given those off of my 0, 0. So this very first one over here is the x coordinate is going to be -1. I'll put a comma. My y coordinate is 0.5. Now, I'm getting that directly off the print. So take a look at the lower left-hand corner. Notice the dimension line. Follow over. In the x, it's 1 inch dimension. Of course, we're going to the left from there, so that's a -1. And we're going up from that point, so our x0, y0 datum point. So since we're going up from that point, it's going to be a positive ½ inch, and I can hit enter. Now, in the same case now, at once, as I look down here is what it's telling me. It says specify radius of circle or diameter. You can do the math. We're given the diameter of 0.5. So you can do the math and say, well, I know that if my diameter is 0.5, my radius is half of my diameter, so that would make it 0.250. And you could type in 0.250 right here. Or you could type in, if you wanted to use the diameter, you could just type in D, enter, and then 0.5 for the diameter size. Either way, that's completely up to you. So AutoCAD gives you a couple of different ways to do this. Let's do the same thing. I can go back up here, click my circle tool again. Looking at my dimensions on here, I see that the center point here in the X is going to be -3.5, comma, +1 in the Y, enter, and in this case now my diameter is 1, so my radius, I am just going to save myself a keystroke and go 0.5 on the radius, which will give me a 1 inch diameter. And this drawing is now done as well. So I've completed everything there. So I need to go up here to save as. Again, that reminder as we get into no matter where we're at, what we're doing, my suggestion is to save and save often. So I'm going to name this slider block. Now, again, don't put a space in it. Capitalize the S, capitalize the B, then hyphen your first initial and your last name. So make sure that you follow that file naming convention so we don't lose any files, and we will always know exactly where they're at when we need them to call them up. So hit save as this is saving. So as soon as it tells us that it's saved up here, we can come right back here to our main AutoCAD web page. I'm going to click on that, so let me find the slider block. Let's see, here's the slider block right here, so I'll put a check mark in that box, and then I'm coming right here and I'm going to click download. So I'll download that. In this case, on my laptop here, it downloads it to my download file folder on the laptop. So you need to navigate and download that to a place where you know where it's at. That way you'll be able to navigate through and upload this back into Canvas when you need to. So take a look at that. You've got that in there, and get that uploaded to get credit for this drawing.